Oh Allah, cause me to fear you in secret and in public. The fear of Allah, the fear of Allah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nur Allah. The Prophet of creation, the peace of our heart and mind, the most generous and kind, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam, has said, whoever recites salat upon me 1,000 times daily shall not die until he sees his place in heaven. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. My dear viewers, Alhamdulillah Azwajal, in last episode I discussed why don't we fear. And in this episode, I shall discuss the blessings of Jannah. Sayyidina Isa bin Marhum Attar alayhi rahmatullahi al-Ghaffar has stated, a pious maid used to remain in the service of Sayyidatuna Rabi'a Adawiyya rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha. That maid told me about the worshipping and devotion of Sayyidatuna Rabi'a Adawiyya rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, that she would be engrossed in salah the whole entire night. She would lay down on her prayer mat at the break of dawn, and when daylight begins, she would immediately get up and would say to her nafs, "O nafs, how long will you sleep in this temporary world? Stay awake sometimes, carry out some virtuous deeds, and receive the sweet sleep in your grave. Nobody will wake you up till the hereafter. Perform deeds here and have rest there." Then she, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, would engage in worshipping again. She devoted her entire life in worshipping. She, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, called me when her death approached and said, "Do not trouble me due to my death." In other words, do not cry and wail over my death, and bury me in this same woolen robe. After her death, we shrouded her in the same robe, as she had willed, and 1 year later, I saw her in my dream, wearing a beautiful green garment made of silk and a long green scarf, also of silk. I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal, I had never seen such a beautiful garment before as the one she was wearing. I then asked her, "O Rabi'ah, what happened to the robe that we shrouded you in?" She, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, replied, "I swear by Allah Azza wa Jal, that robe was taken from me and was replaced with this brilliant garment. That robe has been folded, sealed, and placed in maqam illiyin, so that I attain reward in exchange of it on the Day of Judgment." I asked, "What about the other blessings rewarded to you?" She, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, replied, "The blessings which Allah Azza wa Jal has prepared for His pious bondsmen are beyond description. You had just a glimpse of these blessings. As for other unique and excellent blessings prepared for His blessed saints, Allah Azza wa Jal knows." Thereafter, I requested her to inform me of such an act through which I could attain closeness to Allah Azza wa Jal. She, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha, replied, "Make the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal compulsory upon you. If you do not do this, it is not impossible that you are rewarded with such blessings that you become admired." My dear viewers, have you seen how this pious bondsman of Allah Azza wa Jal, who devoted all her days and nights in the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal, staying awake in the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal, sacrificed all her desires and opposed their nafs. In return, Allah Azza wa Jal showered immense blessings upon her, that the robe that she would wear at the time of worshipping was replaced with such an excellent garment whose beauty has never been seen and heard by anybody. Even on the Day of Judgment, reward will be granted to her in exchange of this blessed robe. Other eternal blessings of Jannah will also be granted. Sayyidatuna Rabi'a Adawiyya rahmatullahi ta'ala alayha deserved all these blessings because she was a true believer and she devoted her entire life in doing good deeds. And true believers who continue carrying out virtuous deeds have received the glad tidings of Jannah, as it is stated in Surah An-Nisa, verse 124, part 5. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِنَ الصَّالِحَاتِ مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ فَأُولَٰئِكَ يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ وَلَا يُظْلَمُونَ نَقِيرًا. Translation: and whoever does virtuous deeds, whether man or woman, and is a Muslim, will be admitted to paradise and they will not be wronged a bit. Commenting on this blessed verse, Hakimul Ummat Allama Mufti Ahmad Yar Khan alayhi rahmatur rahman has stated, be it a man or woman, if he or she does good deeds according to her ability, and if he or she is a true believer with correct beliefs, then they would be rewarded with entry into Jannah in the hereafter. The level in Jannah that he would be in will be according to his deeds. He would not be oppressed in any way as one who deserves high level and he is granted lower level. Such an injustice would not take place. My dear viewers, we've just learned that a true believer with correct beliefs will be entered into Jannah as a reward in exchange for his good deeds, and he will be placed in that level of Jannah according to his good deeds. These blessings have been mentioned in the glorious Quran at many places. The glorious Quran illustrates this point by stating, Surah Al-Waqi'ah, part 27, verse 15 to 24. عَلَى سُرُرٍ مَوْضُونَةٍ مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَيْهَا مُتَقَابِلِينَ يَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ بِأَكْوَابٍ وَأَبَارِيقَ وَكَأْسٍ مِّن مَّعِينٍ لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون وفاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون. Translation: the dwellers of Jannah will be on studded thrones, reclining on them, facing each other, surrounded by eternal youths, carrying bowls and pitchers and cups filled with flowing drinks before them. Their heads shall not ache with it, nor shall they lose their senses, and fruits that they may like, and meat of birds that they may wish, and gorgeous-eyed fair maidens like pearls safely hidden. My dear viewers, have you just seen how beautifully the glorious Quran describes some of the blessings of Jannah, reserved for the dwellers of Jannah? They will be seated on thrones, studded with diamonds and pearls, reclining on them, facing each other. Obedient youths ready in service, carrying goblets and cups filled with flowing wine, which will not give them any headache, nor will it make them unconscious, because there is no intoxication. Fruits will be served as they choose, and the meat of birds as they desire. Lovely large-eyed pure maidens, like preserved hidden pearls, are the reward for their deeds. Remember, worldly enjoyments can never compare to the great delights of those in Jannah, such as their clothing, food, drink, jewelry, and palaces. There is in fact no room for comparison, as even the smallest space in Jannah is better than this world and all that it contains. Now let's listen to 3 blessed ahadith in regards to the blessings of Jannah. Number 1. The blessed and beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated, Allah Azza wa Jal said, I have prepared for my pious bondsmen those bounties which no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and no human heart has ever perceived. Number 2. The blessed and beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated, in paradise there are 100 levels. The distance between each level is like the heavens and the earth. Al-Firdaus is the highest level, and from it the 4 rivers of Jannah are made to flow forth. And there is a sky over it. So when you ask Allah Azza wa Jal, ask Him for Al-Firdaus. Number 3. The greatest and holiest Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated, a place in Jannah equal to the size of a whip is better than the whole world and whatever it contains. My dear viewers, Truly there is absolutely no comparison when it comes to the temporary things of this world with the everlasting blessings of Jannah. And wise is the one who gives preference to the eternal blessings of Jannah over the mortal and temporary blessings of this world. But alas, the majority of our people are ignorant of this fact and are only lost in the temporary amusements and attractions of this mortal world. Remember, the similitude of this world and its attractions is like a snake which is soft and smooth when it is touched, but its poison is deadly. In exactly the same way, this world is apparently very charming and appealing, but it carries great destruction. Therefore, do not attach yourself to this world. Rather, focus to improve your hereafter. Do good deeds as much as you can before death overcomes you. Otherwise, you'll be left with nothing except deep regret at the time of the agonies of death. The blessed and beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam stated, Allah Azza wa Jal also bestows the world for the sake of virtuous deeds, but does not bestow the hereafter for the sake of worldly deeds. Therefore, we must try to improve ourselves, as good deeds are the provision for the salvation in the next world. Insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, with the blessings of good deeds, not only will we improve in the worldly life and the hereafter, but we also gain the everlasting blessings of Jannah. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. My dear viewers, undoubtedly it is an extremely challenging task to carry out virtuous deeds to attain Jannah whilst refraining from the desires of worldly wealth and positions and the love of the world. But if we focus on the comforts and pleasures of the hereafter, then it will be easier for us to carry out good deeds. Understand it through this example that there are two payments, 100 and 10,000. And if you are offered to choose either one, then certainly every person would choose 10,000. Not a single wise person would even look towards the payment of 100. Therefore, in exactly the same manner, whatever is in this dunya, wama fiha, is similar to that payment of 100. Whereas the blessings of the hereafter are priceless and beyond any comparison with any of the worldly benefits. Therefore, do not chase after this world. Rather, earn for the hereafter. Find pleasure in performing good deeds and put in efforts to gain Jannah. Now let's listen to some of the descriptions of Jannah in order to motivate us. If so little as what can be placed on a fingernail of what is in heaven were to become apparent, it would have beautified all the four corners of the heavens and the earth. And if the heavenly bracelets were to become apparent, it would have blocked out the light of the sun, as the sun conceals light of the stars. Various palaces made of gems are in Jannah, which are clearly transparent, that inside can be seen from the outside, and the outside can be seen from inside. The walls of Jannah are built of bricks made of gold and silver, and the mortar is of musk. One brick of the garden of Jannah is made of gold. One brick is made of silver. The soil of saffron and its pebbles are pearls and rubies. It is stated in another narration that one brick of the garden of Jannah is made of white pearl. One brick is of red ruby, and one brick is of green chrysolite, and the mortar is of musk. It is stated in another narration that one brick of the garden of Jannah is made of white pearl. One brick is of red ruby, and one brick is of green chrysolite. The mortar is of musk, the grass is saffron, pebbles are pearls, and its soil is ambergris. Jannah has 4 rivers, one of water, one of milk, the third of honey, and one of pure wine, which does not intoxicate. Streams will flow from these rivers, reaching every house. These streams do not flow below the ground level, but flow above the ground. One shore of the rivers is made up of pearls, and the other of rubies. The riverbeds are made of pure musk. The wine of Jannah is not like the wine of this world, which smells terrible, bitter, and intoxicates people, making them lose their senses, and then become abusive. But the wine of paradise is free from all such faults. The food of Jannah will be delicious, and of all varieties, and whatever is desired will be presented to them. Upon seeing a bird, if one would desire to eat its meat will be immediately fried and brought to him. When the desire for water is there, etc., jugs will appear in their hands, containing the right mixture of water, milk, wine and honey. The quantity will be exactly according to their desire, not one drop more, nor one drop less, and it will disappear after drinking it. All the foods will be digested, producing a fragrant belch and perspiration which will give out a smell like that of musk. Each dweller of Jannah, a Jannati, will have a minimum of 10,000 servants at the head of his bed, and each servant will be holding a silver bowl in one hand and a gold bowl in the other hand, and each bowl will have adornment of new color. When a dweller of Jannah eats more food, its taste would not decrease, but will become tastier. Each morsel would have 70 tastes, and every taste is more distinctive than the last one. He will feel all these tastes together, and the sense of one taste would not stop the other. The clothing of the dwellers of Jannah would not get worn out, nor would they become old. The people in Jannah do not sleep, because sleep is a form of death. And there is no death in Jannah. When the dwellers of Jannah enter Jannah, they shall take their places according to the virtue of their good deeds, and there is no limit of divine mercy. Then permission will be granted to them to see their Rabb Azza wa Jal after the length of a week of this world. The divine throne will appear, and Allah Azza wa Jal will manifest in the gardens of Jannah. Then towering pulpits of light of pearl, of gold, of silver, and gemstones made of corundum and of peridots. Then towering pulpits of light, of pearl, of gold, of silver, and gemstones made of corundum and of peridots shall be raised for the dwellers of Jannah. And the lowest of them, and there is none of them that is low, will sit upon a hill of musk and camphor. And they would not regard those upon the pulpits as having a better seating place than them. The blessed sight of Allah Azza wa Jal will be as clear and apparent as the sun and the moon. On a night when its full is viewed by everybody from where they stand, as nobody blocks another while seeing. Allah Azza wa Jal will descend His blessed refulgence upon everyone and will say to a one amongst them, O certain person, the son of a certain person, do you remember the day when you did such and such a thing? And He Azza wa Jal will remind him of some of his sins in the world. So he will say, O Rabb Azza wa Jal, did you not forgive me? Allah Azza wa Jal will reply, indeed, it is by the vastness of my forgiveness that you reach this status of yours. So while they are engaged in this state, they shall be covered by a cloud that will shower fragrance upon them, such a fragrance whose smell they had never smelt before. And Allah Azza wa Jal will say, go to that direction as to what I have prepared for you in your honor, and take whatever you desire. Then people will go towards a market which the angels will have already surrounded it. There will be also by those things what no eyes have seen the like of, no ears have heard of, nor have these things ever occurred in anyone's heart. And things will be carried to them, whatever they desire. Nothing will be sold or bought in this market, and the dwellers of Jannah who meet each other in this market, and the dwellers of Jannah who have a lower rank will be impressed by the garments of those dwellers of Jannah, and things will be carried to them, whatever they desire. Nothing will be sold or bought in this market, and the dwellers of Jannah will meet each other in this market, and the dwellers of Jannah who have a lower rank would be impressed by the garments of those dwellers of Jannah who have a higher rank. Their discussion will not come to an end until the lower ranked Jannati will presume that his clothing is better than the higher ranked Jannati, and that is because there is no grief and sorrow for anybody in Jannah. They will then return to their houses, and their wives will welcome them, saying, you have returned, and you have greater beauty than when you left us. So they will reply, today we sat in the proximity of our Lord Azza wa Jal, and this is the reason that we have become so. If Jannatis wish to meet each other a throne of one Jannati will approach the other Jannati. In another narration, it is stated, excellent rides and horses will be brought to Jannatis, and they will be carried on them wherever they desire. The Jannati with the lowest rank is the one who will look at his gardens, his wives, his bounties, his servants, and his thrones for the distance of 1,000 years. And the noblest amongst them is that who will be privileged to see Allah Azza wa Jal each morning and evening. When the Jannatis enter Jannah, Allah Azza wa Jal will say, is there anything else that you want me to provide for you? They will humbly say, you have brightened our faces, entered us into Jannah, and granted us salvation from hell. Thereafter the veiling will be lifted, which was overspread upon the creation, and nothing is greater than the blessed sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us all ability that we adopt piety, and may Allah Azza wa Jal grant us all ability that we have entrance into Jannatul Firdaus with the companionship of the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Oh Allah, cause me to fear you in secret and in public. The fear of Allah, the fear